Have you ever noticed friends and family fading away as you get older? It can be upsetting when people don't call, visit, or invite you out like they used to. There are real reasons why this happens, but you can do something about it. This video will explain 6 reasons why people might leave you as you age. These are often things you do without realizing it. Once you know them, you can change and keep strong relationships for years to come. Watch until the end to learn surprising reasons and how to avoid these problems. To keep your important relationships strong. If you feel people are drifting away, this might help you see things differently. First, neglecting personal growth. People drift away when someone stops learning and growing. Someone who keeps learning and doing new things stays interesting. But if you stop trying new things or learning, it's harder to connect with you. People like being around those who are active in life, no matter their age. Talking to someone curious and open-minded is fun. But if someone only talks about the past or refuses new ideas, it becomes tiring. People might slowly reach out less. Growth means staying active mentally, asking questions, and being interested in the world. Someone who is open to new ideas and willing to learn is fun to be around. But someone closed off loses that energy, and relationships can fade. Imagine 2 older men. One learns about new things, watches documentaries, and enjoys learning from younger people. The other ignores anything new, saying things were better in the past. People will enjoy talking to the first man more. He'll get more calls and invitations. It's easy to get comfortable as we age, but staying active is a choice. You don't need to know everything new, but being open and curious will make a difference. If you keep growing, people will want you in their lives. If you stop, they might feel like you're standing still. It's never too late to change. Try a new skill, read something different, or ask more questions. Trying to grow will keep you connected because people like those who move forward. Second, becoming too negative or complaining. Constant negativity can push people away. Complaining about your health, the younger generation, or how things used to be can drive people away. No one likes being around someone who always focuses on the worst. It can be tiring, even if you're just being honest. Think about how you feel around someone who always complains. Maybe it's a relative who talks about aches and pains, a friend who only shares bad news, or someone who always finds something to complain about. Over time, these conversations become draining, and people start calling and visiting less. You can still talk about problems. Sharing with trusted people is important. The key is balance. If you mostly talk about frustrations and complaints, people might hesitate to reach out. People want to be around those who lift them up and see the good side of life, even when things are hard. You don't need to be fake, but focusing on gratitude, curiosity, and humor can make a big difference. Highlight good moments, ask about others' lives, and share funny stories instead of complaints. People feel better around you and want to spend more time with you. Picture 2 older men at a family gathering. One complains about his back, the traffic, and how nobody respects elders. The other shares a funny story, asks how everyone is, and finds something positive to say. People will want to sit next to the second man. He'll get more invitations. Energy is contagious, and people like those who bring light. If people are pulling away, think about the energy you bring to conversations. Do you add warmth and connection, or do you only focus on what's wrong? A small change in how you talk about life can make a big difference. If you bring positivity, people will want to be around you. Third, failing to nurture relationships. Relationships need effort. Friendships and family bonds need work. One reason people drift away is that relationships feel one-sided. If you expect others to always reach out, make plans, or check in, you might be pushing them away. Think about your relationships. When did you last reach out first? When did you last call a friend, invite someone out, or send a nice message? Many people think that if someone cares, they'll always make the effort. But relationships fade when not taken care of. If people always make the effort, they eventually stop. It's not about big gestures, but showing people they matter. A simple text, a quick call, or coffee can make a big difference. It shows you value them. If someone only hears from you when you need something, or when they're the only one trying, they might feel the relationship isn't worth it. Imagine two older men. One checks in with friends and family and takes an interest in their lives. The other rarely reaches out, only calling when he needs a favor or to complain. People will want to stay connected with the first man. People want to feel valued, not used. It's never too late to rebuild connections. If you've been distant, start small. A short call, a kind message, or remembering details about someone's life can show you care. Be consistent. You don't need constant contact, but when people know you're thinking of them, they'll want to stay in your life. If you're wondering why people are drifting away, ask yourself if you've been making the effort or waiting for others. The more you invest in relationships, the more they'll grow. When people know they matter, they'll want to be part of your life. Fourth, refusing to adapt to change. Life changes, and people who stay connected embrace change. One reason people pull away is when someone becomes too stubborn, rejecting new ideas or technology. If people feel they can't have meaningful talks because you dismiss their views, they might disappear from your life. The world is different today than it was years ago. Communication has changed. Social norms have shifted. Technology is everywhere. Younger people use text and social media to connect. Many older people struggle with these changes, not because they can't adapt, but because they choose not to. They say they don't understand it or things were better in the past. While nostalgia is normal, rejecting new ways of thinking makes it harder to relate to you. It's not just about technology. It's about being open to different views. Relationships, careers, and life are different now. If someone criticizes younger people, dismisses ideas, or refuses to acknowledge change, it creates a divide. People, especially family, might feel conversations are debate leading to distance. You don't have to agree with everything or change who you are. Just stay curious, ask questions, and be willing to learn even the basics of how younger people communicate. If you refuse to adapt, people might feel like they're speaking a different language and stop trying to connect. Imagine two older men with their grandchildren. One dismisses their interests and talk about how things used to be better. The other listens, asks about their lives, and tries to engage with their interests. Younger people will want to spend time with the second man. Change can be hard, but it's also unavoidable. People who stay connected are flexible, open-minded, and willing to adapt. You don't have to master everything new, but showing a willingness to understand keeps people in your life. Fifth, becoming overly dependent on others. Relationships need balance. When one person always takes without giving back, it creates strain. As we age, needing help is normal. But if you're too dependent without considering others' needs, it might push them away. People want to help those they care about, but when it feels like an obligation, they might create distance. Think about your relationships. Do you rely on others for things you used to do? Maybe you ask for favors too often, expect family to always take care of things, or lean on others for support without giving back. It's important to have loved ones to depend on. But relationships shouldn't feel one-sided. When people feel they're always giving without appreciation, they might step back. This applies to emotional energy too. If every talk is about your problems without considering the other person, they might pull away. People want to feel valued, not just needed. You can still ask for help, but balance it with independence. Doing what you can, showing gratitude, and finding ways to give back helps maintain strong relationships. People are more willing to help those who also contribute. Imagine two older men. One constantly asks for help, but rarely says thanks and assumes they'll always be there. The other appreciates the help, does what he can, and finds ways to contribute, like offering advice or support. People will continue to show up for the second man. If people are distancing themselves, ask yourself if you're giving as much as you take. Do you show appreciation? Do you try to handle things yourself? Small changes, like saying thanks, helping others, or checking in on someone else can keep people close. When people feel appreciated, they'll want to be part of your life. Sixth, holding on to resentment and failing to forgive. Unresolved resentment pushes people away. As we age, we can accumulate disappointments and conflicts, but holding on to those feelings hurts us and pushes others away. People don't want to be around someone who holds grudges. That kind of energy makes relationships heavy, and people might walk away. Think about your relationships. Are there people you've distanced yourself from because they wronged you? Do you replay old arguments or feel bitter toward family who made mistakes? It's natural to feel hurt, but when that hurt becomes a wall, it's a problem. Sometimes people don't know why you've pulled away. In other cases they do, but they stop trying because they sense you won't let it go. Holding on to resentment punishes you, not the other person. It keeps you trapped in the past while others move forward. When people sense every talk might turn into a reminder of old problems, they might stop reaching out. No one wants to be constantly reminded of their past mistakes. And if they feel they'll never be forgiven, they might step back. Imagine two older men with their families. One has learned to let go of small conflicts and focus on the present. The other still holds on to arguments from years ago and makes sure everyone knows he hasn't forgotten. People will want to spend time with the first man. Forgiveness isn't about pretending things didn't happen. It's about freeing yourself from carrying them around. It's about choosing peace over resentment and valuing relationships more than past mistakes. If you're holding on to anger, ask yourself if it's helping you or pushing people away. Choosing to forgive helps keep others in your life and helps you find peace. In conclusion, think about these 6 reasons. Do any sound familiar? If so, see it as a chance to change. Loneliness in old age isn't unavoidable. Many things that push people away can be changed. Making small shifts like reaching out more, letting go of resentment, or staying open-minded can bring people back into your life. Attractiveness isn't just about looks, and relationships aren't just about time. They're about the energy you bring, how you make others feel, and the effort you put in to stay connected. These qualities don't fade with age. If you stay interested in others, engaged with life, and approach relationships with kindness, you'll always have people who want to be around you. Instead of wondering why people leave, ask yourself what you can do to make them want to stay. The power to build strong relationships is in your hands. It's never too late to reconnect and create a life filled with meaningful relationships. The more effort you put into keeping the right people close, the more fulfilling your later years will be.